If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. She waited too long to say the unspeakable. Now it demands your presence, raw and trembling. Her eyes hold the weight of 1,000 silent apologies, each one carved in sorrow. The urgency isn't just words, it's a fracture, reopening, bleeding truths you both avoided. She called you through the noise of regret, hoping you'd hear her broken heart. In her silence, a confession burns, desperate for a witness. Your arrival won't just change the day. It will unravel years of quiet suffering. She's holding a fragile secret like a shard of glass, trembling in her hands. The personal she speaks of is a wound stitched by love, pain, and betrayal. Her voice is a fragile thread, pulling you toward a truth neither can escape. She's afraid the truth will break you, but worse if it stays buried. The urgency isn't time, it's the collapsing walls of her carefully built. Facade, she needs you to witness a truth that will haunt both your dreams. Behind her calm, a storm rages, desperate to be named and understood. Her plea is silent but fierce, a desperate cry for connection through the pain. She's carrying a truth heavy enough to crush the spaces between you. Urgent was the word. She whispered before tears claimed her voice. She's begging you to come before the past erases what little hope remains. The secret she holds could either destroy you or set you both free. Her eyes searched for forgiveness, but found overwhelming only weight of truth. The urgency is the echo of a love fractured, but still fiercely alive. She summoned you with trembling hands, needing to unburden the soul's deepest ache. The moment you arrive, the unspoken will crash down like a storm breaking. She hides her fear beneath a fragile smile. Will you see beyond it? The personal she guards is a thread unraveling the tapestry of your past. Like a prayer whispered into an empty room, the urgency in her voice is the fragile heartbeat of long-buried regret. She waits on the edge of confession, trembling between love. The silence before you comes, holds all the weight she never could say. She's carrying a secret that feels like drowning in a sea of forgotten truths. Her voice cracks with the burden of a story only you can hold. The urgency in her call is the fracture of a heart desperately needing to heal. She needs you before the shadows consume the light that still flickers inside her. Her eyes ask for mercy, but speak only of desperate longing and regret. The secret she carries will either shatter or strengthen what remains between you. She calls you with trembling hope, a fragile bridge over the chasm of silence. The urgency in her voice is a fragile flame waiting for your breath. She's not just asking. You must come to witness the unraveling of her soul. The person she speaks of is a one bleeding truths you never dared to hear. She waits for you at the crossroads of fear and fragile hope. Her voice is a whisper, fragile but fierce, calling you to a reckoning long delayed. The urgency isn't in hours, but in the collapse of every unspoken truth. She carries a secret wrapped in love's sharpest edges and deepest shadows. Your arrival will either heal the fracture or tear the wound wide open. She's calling you like a last breath, trembling between surrender and salvation. The silence she breaks is a fragile veil, hiding years of aching regret. She needs you before the truth drowns in a sea of forgotten promises. The urgency is the pulse of a heart, desperate to speak before it breaks. She summons. The person she guards is a fragile bridge between what was and what could be. Her voice is trembling, carrying the weight of a story too heavy to hold alone. She calls you to witness a truth wrapped in fear, love, and fragile forgiveness. The urgency is the breaking point between silence and confession, between love and loss. She needs you to hold the pieces of a truth neither of you can ignore. Her eyes search for a mercy that only your presence can offer. The secret she carries is a fragile thread in the tapestry of your shared past. She calls you like a prayer whispered through tears, fragile yet fierce. The urgency in her voice is the heartbeat of a soul on the edge. She's carrying a burden too heavy for silence or time to mend. Your arrival will tear down walls built on years of quiet suffering. She needs you before the shadows consume the light left inside her heart. The puzzle she speaks of is a fracture carved by love, fear, and regret. Her voice is a fragile plea, trembling between hope and despair. She calls you to stand on the edge of truth and broken promises. The urgency is the fragile pulse of a love too damaged to hide. She waits with a secret that could either break or bind your souls forever. My dear, her voice trembled. It's urgent, but her eyes told it a secret no one should know. The moment she asked, the room grew colder. Your the form changed everything tonight, behind her polite smile. A storm brews she needs you before your name escaped her lips like a whispered prayer, heavy with fear and hope. She waits with 1,000 unsaid words. Your arrival breaks the fragile quiet. Urgent, she said, but it wasn't time she feared. It was truth. The past is knocking. Her eyes begged for your courage to answer. Every second before you arrive, the shadows in her heart grow darker. She's not just calling you. She's calling for a reckoning only you can face. Her hands shook, holding a secret heavier than the years she's hidden it. When she said, "Personal," the silence screamed louder than any confession. She carries a story with no endings, waiting for you to rewrite the pain. Her eyes searched yours like a lighthouse in a sea of lost hopes. You must come, she pleaded, her voice cracked, carrying a silent goodbye. The weight of her words settled between you like a cold, unspoken promise. She knows you hold the key to a wound no one else can heal. She isn't just asking, she's begging for forgiveness that may never come. The urgency in her voice was less about time, more about lost trust. She's trapped between fear and relief, waiting for you to cross the line. In her gaze, a universe of secrets waiting to shatter or save you both. She needs to see you before the silence becomes too loud to bear. Her truth is a ghost she can no longer chase alone. She called your name like a prayer she wasn't sure would be answered. It's personal, she said, like a warning or promise of heartbreak. Behind her calm, a storm rages, begging you to anchor her chaos. The urgency hides a fracture. No one else sees but you. She wants to speak, but the words tremble on the edge of her lips. Her quiet desperation demands your presence more than your forgiveness. Every moment you delay, the weight of her secret grows unbearable. She's waiting for you to carry a burden you never chose but must bear. The urgency isn't time. It's the unraveling of a fragile truth. My mom needs to see you. A sentence heavier than any apology. Her eyes hold a lifetime of apologies you weren't ready to hear. She's reaching for a bridge built from hope and trembling regret. The silence between her words screams louder than any confession. She summoned you like a last breath, fragile yet fierce. The urgency in her voice is a riddle only your heart can solve. She's waiting with a secret that could either break or bind you. The moment is urgent because the past refuses to stay buried. Her plea is not for mercy, but for truth in its rawest form. The urgency is a silent scream, her soul's last chance to be heard. Swallow her whole. The person she speaks of is a wound stitched with lies and love. Her voice cracks with the weight of a confession unspoken too long. It's urgent, she said, like the final note of a song you never finished. She calls you to witness a truth that will haunt or heal forever. Behind her eyes, a battlefield of love, fear, and silent apologies. The secret she guards is a storm brewing, waiting for your calm. She needs to see you before the past erases the future. Her words trembled with the power to undo or redeem everything. The urgency isn't in the moment, but in the hearts that won't forgive. She's asking for a reckoning wrapped in silence and fragile hope. Her eyes say more than her words. She's pleading for your understanding. She holds a truth that could either break or bind your souls forever. The urgency in her voice is a thread pulling you back to what's lost. She needs you to face a truth too painful for her alone. Personal she speaks of is a delicate fracture between love and regret. Her voice as a soft command wrapped in trembling desperation. Urgent, she said, but it's the silence that screams loudest in your ears. She's calling you not just to hear, but to feel what she cannot say. The secret she carries will unravel the quiet you both held too long. She needs you to stand with her on the edge of what was broken. The urgency is a plea for a moment, suspended between past and forgiveness. She speaks through shadows, hoping you'll find the light she's lost. Her eyes are the last place a confession wants to live and die. The puzzle she's guarding is a fragile thread in your shared story. She calls for you like a prayer whispered between fear and hope. The urgency in her voice is the heartbeat of a long-buried truth. She waits with a secret too heavy for silence or time to carry. My mom needs to see you. A sentence breaking the quiet between you. Her truth is a fragile glass cracking under the weight of waiting. The urgency is a song only your soul can understand and answer. She's not just asking, you must come to hold the fragile weight of her truth. The silence between you is breaking, and her heart shatters with it. She calls you like a fading light, hoping you'll guide her through the dark. The personal she speaks of is a wound bleeding beneath years of quiet life. Her voice trembles, a fragile confession breaking free from long-held chains. She needs you before the past consumes what little peace remains. Her eyes plead silently for you to understand what words cannot say. The urgency isn't time, it's the unraveling of a bond stretched too thin. She waits on the edge of a secret too dangerous to keep alone. The moment you arrive, the truth will crash like waves on fragile shores. She's calling you through walls built on fear and forgotten promises. Her voice is a trembling prayer whispered into the void between you. The person she guards is a fragile thread in the fabric of your shared pain. She needs you to carry what she can no longer bear in silence. Her eyes hold a storm, beautiful, terrifying, and aching to be seen. The urgency is the heartbeat of a soul desperate to be freed from regret. She calls you like a last breath, fragile but filled with fierce love. The silence before you comes holds every truth she's been too afraid to speak. She's carrying a secret that could either bind or break what remains. Her voice cracks under the weight of a confession that could change everything. The urgency is a soft scream echoing through the corridors of forgotten memories. She waits for you to stand with her at the crossroads of love and pain. She calls your name like a lifeline thrown across the chasm of regret. The puzzle she speaks of is a fragile fracture in your shared history. Her eyes search for forgiveness in the ruins of what once was. The urgency isn't the clock. It's the breaking of walls built too high to climb. She needs you to witness the unraveling of every unspoken word between you. Her voice trembles, a fragile bridge between the past and what's left to heal. She calls you like a prayer whispered through tears, fragile yet fierce. The secret she carries will either save you both or shatter the fragile piece. She's waiting with trembling hands, ready to unravel the story you both fear. The urgency hides a truth too heavy for silence or time to carry. She needs you before the shadows swallow the last flicker of hope. Her eyes plead for understanding amidst the ruins of broken promises. The personal she guards is a fragile thread in the tapestry of your love. Her voice breaks under the weight of a story only you can hold. She calls you to witness a truth wrapped in fear, love, and fragile forgiveness. The urgency is the breaking point between silence and confession, love and loss. She needs you to hold the pieces of truth, neither of you. Her eyes search for mercy that only your presence can offer. The secret she carries is a fragile thread pulling you back to what was lost. She calls your name like a lifeline thrown into a sea of doubt and fear. The urgency is the heartbeat of a soul, desperate to be seen and heard. She waits with trembling hands, ready to unravel the fragile story between you. The person she speaks of is a fracture that time cannot mend alone. Her voice is a whisper wrapped in trembling hope and desperate longing. She calls for you like a prayer whispered in the silence of the night. The urgency hides a truth too heavy to carry alone any longer. She needs you to face what neither of you dared to speak before. Her eyes plead for understanding amidst the ruins of broken promises. The secret she carries could either shatter your world or save it. She called you with trembling hope. Fragile, fierce, and utterly necessary. The urgency in her voice is the fragile heartbeat of a love almost lost. She waits on the edge of confession, trembling between hope and heartbreak. The silence before you arrives is a fragile veil hiding years of pain. She's carrying a secret heavy for words, but urgent to ignore. Her voice breaks under the weight of a story only you can hold. She needs you before the shadows erase the last flicker of hope. The person she guards is a fragile thread between love and regret. Her voice trembles, carrying the weight of a truth too painful to hide. She calls you like a prayer, whispered through tears, fragile and fierce. The urgency is the pulse of a soul desperate to speak before breaking. She's begging you to come before the past follows the light forever. The secret she holds will either heal the fracture or tear it wide open. She waits with eyes full of silent apologies and desperate longing. Your arrival will quiet pain she's hidden for too long. The urgency isn't time. It's the breaking point of love and loss.